What's up, everybody? Hope you're doing well. It's April 1st, Monday, April 1st. And just going to do a quick garden update. I haven't uploaded in a minute, so we're going to kind of update everything. We're going to start out here. Everything's outside for the year. We got the Pindo palm. It's growing really fast, so I definitely need to repot it. I bought a few new things, but these little desert shrubs. Bought a prickly pear. We have one casualty from this winter, that guy right there. Rose is kind of coming back, so I'll give it another chance, let it do its own thing. If it dies again, it dies. But I'll probably remove that since it's basically dead and doesn't look very good. Everything else made it just fine. Everything else looks pretty spotless, no damage. The agaves look good, Joshua tree, the red yucca. I cut the stem off, had the flower, and accidentally cut some fronds off, but it still looks okay. It'll flush out this year. Everything else looks good though. Next we got the California fan palm. I repotted this one last night. It got a little cold last night, admittedly, and I cut some fronds off of it just now. They were dying, and I left some of these top fronds on. I repotted it last night to this massive pot. It weighs a ton, and it drained a lot, as you can see. You gotta clean that up. But I think this thing will blow up fast. I'm keeping it right by the garage, so it's gonna get a lot of heat this summer from the afternoon sun, the black pot, and the fact that it's just surrounded with concrete. So I think it'll blow up in growth this year. It's nice and warm with the sun out. It's about 58 right now. I'm in shorts for once. And yeah, I'm really excited to see what happens to this thing. I repotted something else that I'll show you in a minute once we get to the backyard. But everything up here is looking really good so far. I got a few things to plant. We got a southern prickly pear over there, native to Arizona, New Mexico, South Colorado, Utah, Nevada. And they have some Snake River ones here too, but I decided to get the southern one. They're both like really hardy down to like zone 5 or 4, so neither one of them should have a problem here. Anyway guys, that's the front yard. Might plant some more wildflowers this year, but I don't know if I'll plant as many. I might just kind of keep this as is this year. I still got a ton of wildflowers, so I might try to plant a few, but we'll see. Anyway guys, off to the back. Alright guys, here's the backyard. And this is everything for the year. We lost a few things. We lost the ponytail palm, which is something I've had for many years, but it just didn't do good this winter. So it passed, and same with the olive. Not really a big deal in the olive, but the olive died too. They have more I could go pick up if I really wanted to, but I think I'm okay for right now. Let's start over here. Chicago Hardy fig. I trimmed all these figs, by the way, back down so we can have more fruit production. Hopefully get some off that guy this year, but hopefully get some more off here this year. No growth yet, but cut it down quite a bit. So I think it's alive, but it just needs to grow. We got the 2 grapes. Nothing yet, but I think we might have some budding on there. I'm not sure though. These ones surprised me. These things saw 15 degrees in the pots. The pots were completely frozen, and there's some live tissue on there. A lot of it's turning green. So we have some life from these guys. These are cuttings of that tree. These things should actually be less hardy than this. This thing saw the entirety of winter, saw down to 2 degrees in the pot. These saw probably down to 15 before I took them in the garage for the real bad deep freeze, but I think they're gonna make it just fine. The soil is still moist, so we're getting some rain this weekend, so I won't worry about watering too much. The soil's good here and here, so I'll keep an eye on these though. If I have to water today or tomorrow, I'll water today or tomorrow. Hibiscus, I'm not sure how they normally do in pots, but I cut them down, so we'll see if they come back. If not, they were really cheap, so no big deal. Black Mission fig. Oh, I just noticed this down there. If you could see that, we got some life. So this thing survived. I think this thing survived like 15 degrees as well. And then we got some green right here. So this thing's gonna come back to life very soon. Already got some growth down there that's beginning to happen. So this thing definitely made it through the winter. Be interesting to see if the Chicago Hardy made it. I think it's fine, but we'll see. The Black Mission Fig definitely made it though. Survived another winter here, survived 15 degrees, so in a pot, which is really impressive. Same with these guys. Next we have the Windmill Palm. Did good through this winter, but some yellowing on the lower frond, some damage, but it did fine. It survived probably 20, I think it took 24 in the pot this year, but it looks good. Some squirrels are messing with the soil though, so I'm gonna fertilize it and probably put some more soil in here pretty soon, but it looks fantastic. Grew like a champ last year, so I'm excited to see what happens this year. And it has a new frond coming out too, so nice and strong. New leaves look very good. Next, the Mexican fan palm took damage this winter, but I think it's growing, so we'll just wait to see what happens with it. But it took damage, that's for sure. It hasn't really been doing too well since I got it, but we'll see what happens. Honestly, I'll just kind of keep an eye on it. Won't be a huge loss because I got it on eBay for like $5. Next, another seed-grown Folifera, looking a little pale admittedly. It's hard to see with my shadow. I had my cat kind of chewed this up a little bit, but it should recover just fine, you know. Next we have our palmetto from Florida. It looks really good. So looking nice and green. So excited to see what happens. It's been growing really fast on the root, so I might have to repot it this year. Otherwise it's looking good. Now we got our citrus. Okay, so this thing, I kept it inside for most of the winter, and it was flowering and it was looking really good, and it had a full crown, but it lost a lot of its leaves up here when I took it outside. However, down here it's kept most of its foliage, and it's flowering again. We got a few flower buds over here, so I think this thing will recover pretty quick. I'll put in some fertilizer today or tomorrow and it should be good. This citrus, the only leaves it lost were on its old trunk. Otherwise, all the new growth, it's growing. Same with this thing. This thing's growing too. I think it's grown this since I put it outside, and that's grown kind of that rubbery looking stuff ever since that lighter green stuff ever since I brought it out. I don't know if you'd noticed, but yeah, it's definitely grown since I brought them out. This thing, the Owari Satsuma, this is an Owari Satsuma, by the way, sorry, and a Meyer lemon tree. The Owari Satsuma is doing really good out here. Immediately started growing, even though it lost a few leaves down there. Didn't lose any of its new stuff, and it's growing. This thing's growing as well. So even though it lost quite a few leaves, honestly, I'm sure they will be back in like a few weeks or a month or something. But it still has flowers on there. On the nights where it gets below like 35, 36 in the forecast, which we're still getting a few of those, but they're mostly gone. It's like maybe one a week. And those nights I'll bring it inside, but it's staying out most nights. Next we have the needle palm. This thing is a freaking beast. This thing has grown during the winter a little bit. I think it pushed out this frond right here, this massive one, and then it's also pushing out another frond. This thing didn't stop growing. And look at these side trunks. These shoots are getting massive. And there's one back there too, getting massive. And this little guy here is growing a little bit too. But it's got roots coming out, so we're gonna have to change the pot. I did a few changes, and I just got stabbed by the needle. The needles are starting to get a little harder on these things. Some of them are still a little bendy, but they're starting to stiffen out, so I gotta be really careful with the needles on there. So yeah, needle palm's looking really good. I can't tell, is this a frond or is this a flower? It's probably just a frond. Someone tell me. Because I'd expect this thing to flower up top first if it were going to flower. But yeah, this thing definitely needs a pot change. It is growing to be way too big for this pot. It's already outgrown it. I'll clear these leaves out. But yeah, this thing is getting huge. You got our elderberry coming back to life. We'll see if it completely comes up. Okay, this next thing really surprised me. We got a strawberry plant. End of last year, it looked like crap. And we had a brutal winter. And this thing was from Florida. Keep in mind, this thing was shipped from Florida. This isn't a native. This isn't one, that has genetics from Idaho. But this thing survived 2 degrees and about a foot of snow. And it is looking happy. All this is new growth. And I haven't done anything to it so far. But all this is new growth. Old growth is down here, which is looking kind of alive. But a bunch of new growth up here, so that's very surprising. So we'll keep an eye on this. Sad news about the banana. That stump right there is squishy. I think it's a goner. We'll see what happens, but I'm 99% sure it's a goner. I don't think we're gonna get that back. Next is the queen palm that I bought back in January or February, I'm pretty sure. It's not doing too great. I accidentally left it out in freezing weather in its previous pot, and I just repotted it last night. So this front has a lot of damage on it. And there's some drying out going on top. But in here, there's plenty of life. So I repotted it, put some fertilizer in it, giving it a lot of sun. So we'll see what happens. This is the old pot for the Phyllophera. We'll do this guy last. Next we have the Sago. Looking amazing. Needs some more soil down here though, but otherwise it survived this winter just fine. A little bit of drying up here. And these old fronds, this is just damage from last year. A little bit of drying right here. But otherwise, it's looking absolutely massive and gorgeous. So I think this will be just fine this year. It likes partial sun, a little bit of shade. If you give it a couple hours of sun per day, it could withstand the heat here, no problem. But it's growing like crazy. I think we'll get a lot of growth out of this year, especially for a Sago. Next, the European fan palm from California. This thing probably saw 28 degrees this winter. Looking just fine. Some burned tips, but I think we had that last year. Some of the lower fronds are slightly more burned, but looking good. I don't think we'll get flowers on here. There's an old flower shoot. I don't think we're gonna get any flowers on here till next year, or excuse me, till at least May. And it's got roots coming out of it as well, so I gotta repot it. Same with the Pindo, same with the needle. And I already did 2 repots. I did this queen and I did the Phyllophera. And the Phyllophera was not an easy one to do. The queen was easy to repot. The Phyllophera was hard. So I got that guy, the needle, and then the Pindo palm out front, which all have roots coming through. So it's gonna kind of suck to repot all these because they got to go in big pots. And I did buy a few things. Grass is starting to come back too. We got some magnolias over here, flowering magnolias right there. We got a smaller one right there. But bought some compost, and they didn't have any palm soil, so I just bought planting mix for trees. Bought 1 black pot. The banana was in here a few years ago, and I went to Lowe's and Home Depot. They didn't have any palm soil, unfortunately, so hopefully they'll get some palm soil. If not, I'll just keep using that. Bought a garden this year. I might do a garden. We'll see. It'll definitely be smaller though. That's it, everybody. Bit of a longer video today. Plants I'm going to be keeping my eye on. This guy, the queen, the Mexican, and we got a little bee over here trying to land on me. But we got the Mexican fan palm, queen palm. I think the citrus will be fine. And the Phyllophera, it got damaged from the winter, but I think it'll recover quickly. But I will keep my eye on it because that Phyllophera out front's like my prized palm. because it was the first one I ever sprouted from seed, so I really wanted to survive. Anyway, guys, a range of kind of outcomes from all these plants this winter, from 0 damage from the needle to slightly damaged. I'd say the trachea, the lower fronds are kind of meh, but it still looks really good. And like slight damage in this guy to major damage like this guy. But anyway, guys, I've lost a little bit this winter. However, my goal was to cut back on some of these plants, so you might see me making a video soon on trying to get rid of this California fan palm, this little guy, and trying to get rid of some of these cuttings. I got 3 fig cuttings of Black Mission figs. I don't know why nobody likes them, because last year I gave away a few things and people wanted the little banana I had to get rid of, and they wanted the California fan palms I had to get rid of, but nobody wanted the figs. One guy I gave him 2, I threw in the fig for free because I just wanted to get rid of it. So if anyone wants these Black Mission figs, I mean, the figs for sure I'm going to get rid of, but probably don't want them now since they're just sticks. I'm going to wait till they grow a little bit, probably till May or June, and then we'll give them away, but they should be coming back any day now. And the Cali, I'll wait till it grows a little bit this spring and looks better. And I'll probably make a video on those, saying I'm giving them away. But anyway, guys, here's everything. You know, things can only go up from here. I'm really excited about this spring and summer and the progress everything is going to make. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll try to post a lot more content soon. I'll also try to check out those palm trees in Nampa, the Trachees and the Camaropsis. We'll see how they did this winter. Thanks for watching.